What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today I'll be going over how to complete the Shadows Return Triumph, a new required triumph for the Reaper title and Haunted Seal, available now during Season of the Haunted. Shadows Return is one of 10 different triumphs that you'll need to complete in order to unlock the new Reaper title and Haunted Seal. Shadows Return has 4 separate objectives, and each of those objectives have their own sub-series of objectives. This triumph truly is like an ogre. It's got layers, and to be honest with you, it will likely be an exhausting, time-consuming process for some of these. But by any means, let's get started. And can I go ahead and throw it out there, my apologies for any mispronunciations on some of these guys' names upcoming. Now, as always, if you enjoyed today's video and find it helpful, please be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and really do help support the channel. So, as mentioned, Shadows Return is broken into 4 objectives, and these are all triumphs that are listed within the Season of the Haunted Triumphs tab. The 4 associated objectives are Fever Dream, A Guardian is a Guardian even in a nightmare, Get to taking out their commanders one by one, and Controlled Burn. As also mentioned, each of these 4 objectives and triumphs have their own series of objectives. So let's start with A Guardian is a Guardian even in a nightmare. This requires you to assist coalition troops by disrupting Callus's loyalist forces, say that 3 times fast, aboard the derelict Leviathan. Its 4 associated objectives are called At the Behest of the Empress, Exile Ended, Battle Lines, and Shared Fears. Each of these 4 objectives are connected to small area public events that occur in the royal pools and the pleasure gardens. They can be identified by the flavor text on the bottom left of your screen when the activities begin. Each one of them have a unique flavor text. At the Behest of the Empress will take you into the royal pools. After getting a flavor text about the Empress supplying reinforcements, you can activate a nearby Cabal beacon, which will summon in 2 Cabal allies. They will aid you in taking on this small activity, which can be a challenging one for anybody under power level 1560. But there should be a fair amount of blueberries in the area to help along with this process, along with your 2 new Cabal buddies. Exile Ended can activate in either location and can be identified along with the flavor text, but a visual representation of a huge trapped scion within a Cabal barrier. You'll need to locate this ally and ward off the enemies surrounding the shield. Once done, this releases the Scion ally, who will then help you in fighting off waves of scorn. Battle Lines is also available in both areas. You'll be prompted that the nightmares are setting up barriers. You'll need to track down each barrier shield, destroy the generator, defeat the enemies and mini-boss, and then track down and do the same for 2 more barrier shields. Once you've destroyed all 3, a big Cabal boss will spawn in the area. Defeat this big boss and bam, triumph done. Shared Fears, available in both areas. This event spawns 3 Nightmare Chieftains. Now, unlike the other chieftains that will spawn in this area, these nightmares have specific names, such as the Nightmare of the Forgotten. You'll have to locate all 3, which will be scattered to the corners. Once you've defeated them, a bigger boss will spawn in the center of the area. After defeating this boss, your job is done. Well, at least for this portion of the triumph. As far as the flavor text goes for this, you'll see a flavor text on the bottom left about nightmares. The next triumph is Fever Dream, and the 4 associated objectives are Sporist of Beasts, Nightmare Breached, Drainage, and Ritual Under Shadow. This triumph requires you to defeat each of the powerful nightmares within haunted alcoves on the derelict Leviathan. Now this one, like the others, are set up on random timers. so you could find yourself hanging out for a while before being able to complete any of these. Unlike the previous triumphs where you had to wait for public activities to spawn, this triumph requires you to defeat nightmares who are more like high-value targets. They come with an entourage to protect them, and they tend to activate shortly after public area events. You will be prompted with flavor text at the bottom, just as you are for the other triumphs. Sporest of Beasts will take place in the Pleasure Gardens. After a prompt about snoozing beasts, head to the round spore room in the back center of the area. If the doors to the side are locked, you can jump down from the roof. You will find sleeping Cabal hounds scattered in this room. Clear them out along with the adds that come after, until a mini-boss spawns in. Defeat this Beastmaster and loot the chest, and this one's done. Nightmare Breached takes place in the Pleasure Gardens as well. When getting the text that a sword and shield clash together, head up to the cavity in the front left wall. Hidden above some rocks and rubble, you'll find a hidden pathway that leads you back to where you will discover the Scorn Nightmares for sword and shield. After defeating these enemies, loot the chest, and this one is done. Drainage takes place in the Royal Pools. Now, when you get the prompt for a red dot flies over your ghost, head to the back right corner of Royal Pools and jump down into the hole that's in the floor. Follow this path to find the Nightmare Gallic. Again, sorry if I mispronounced it. He is a sniper scion. Defeat him and his band of woes. Loot the chest, and this one is complete. Be sure to grab the bobblehead that's located in the back of this room as well. Ritual Under Shadow requires you to defeat the Nightmare of Syod, which also occurs in Royal Pools. When the flavor text for a Ritual in Shadow begins, head to the back center wall. Go into this hidden passage, follow along the pathway, and defeat the enemies at the end of the hallway. Activate the Summoning Ritual until an Abomination spawns in. Defeat him and loot the chest, and this one's done. Now, on to get to taking out their commanders one by one. For this one, you'll need to defeat two high-value targets, called Gylix and Evox. Again, sorry about mispronunciation. Both of these targets will randomly spawn in while in the Royal Pools. Unlike the other high-value targets that spawn in, these will have obvious names, so you're going to need to wait for the flavor text that a high-value target is in the area. While finding the high-value target shouldn't be an issue, getting the right one to spawn in will be. Overall, between the 4 different associated high-value targets, it took about an hour to 2 hours of wait time total before I was able to get all 4 of them to spawn in. So if that says anything to what you might expect while waiting for these high-value targets, that's what you're in for. Now, as far as Controlled Burn, this one is going to require you to defeat the 2 high-value targets that are located in the Pleasure Gardens. These targets are called Talazot and Uok. And a heads up on Talazot. He is a scion, and he will adamantly run from you, drawing you into nearby enemies. He is a royal pain in the ass. Now, the same deal goes for these guys. They will randomly spawn in as high-value targets, so you need only wait around for the flavor text to prompt, and then just hope that it's the one you need. Until that time, be sure to grab plenty of bounties and work on those patrols to work on your Crown of Sorrow rep while you're waiting. Once you've completed all 4 of these sub-triumphs, you will unlock the Shadow's Return triumph and will be well on your way to completing the rest of the Haunted Seal and Reaper title. Be sure to stay tuned to the channel for ongoing coverage of this season of the Haunted, along with more upcoming guides on its associated triumphs, challenges, rewards, and future activities. Let me know what you're enjoying most of all so far this season in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If so, be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you some happy hunting.